Today we are looking at Kanye's first sneaker collaboration. Welcome back to Kicks on Kicks, my channel where I review sneakers, and today we are looking at a bit of a history lesson. This, in fact, is Kanye's first sneaker collaboration. It wasn't an Adidas, it wasn't a Nike Air Yeezy, it wasn't even the Louis Vuitton Jaspers. So let's take a trip back to 2007, where we got these. These are the A Bathing Ape Bapesta, the OG style Bapesta, by the way, in the College Dropout colorway. These were released in 2007, around the time of the Graduation album release. And they were basically like a gift from Nigo to Kanye, like just, hey, let's celebrate Kanye. Now, to understand why A Bathing Ape, this Japanese brand, might do that, Bape was just huge. It's hard, if you weren't there, it's hard to express how big Bape was when it came to hip hop and streetwear in general. Like, you can't really talk about streetwear without talking about Bape. And there were some other Japanese brands that were popping at the time: Evisu, Red Monkey, like the big Japanese denim brands. Those all were playing a big part. But something about Bape just kind of came in and took over, and the Bapesta is a huge part of that. Basically, it's an Air Force One with a star. But the other thing that was really interesting about Bapestas was that they came in colors that you would never see an Air Force One made up in, like a bunch of pastels and just crazy color blocking that we've gotten on Air Force Ones since then. Easter, anyone? But anyway, we've gotten crazy color blocking on Air Force Ones since Bapes, but the combination of the crazy color blocking, the pastel tones, the sort of mixtures, using all the Pantone colors and all that, right? And the patent leather just really had people really taken to it. Like, Pharrell was obviously a big proponent since he was a partner with Nigo in a different brand. And then Kanye also. And so anyway, obviously Kanye was a big fan. Lil Wayne was quite the huge fan of Bape. And that's kind of what sparked his whole war with the Clips. Anyway, we don't need the whole Bape history lesson. The point is, Bape was big and Kanye was big. Huge. Dropping the last album in the whole College Dropout trilogy in Graduation, which was supposed to be 4 albums, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, Nigo says, hey, let's give him a sneaker. And so this comes, what, a year and a half before Kanye does the Louis Vuitton Jaspers and then gets the Nike Yeezy deal, and just kind of changes sneakers forever after that, right? The Air Yeezy 1 was dope. The Yeezy 2s broke the internet, and then he moves on to Adidas and starts the Yeezy brand. And sneakers ain't been the same since, but this is where it all started. Now, I say this is Kanye's first sneaker collaboration, and I don't know if that's the proper term, because I don't know how much input Kanye had on this design like he did with Nike and like he does or did with Adidas. But let's just talk about this shoe. Obviously, it's a Bathing Ape shoe. And from the bottom up, we've got the classic Bathing Ape Bapesta outsole. So it's basically mimics the outsole of an Air Force One, but instead of the concentric circles, you have concentric stars. Right here it says Bapesta in the midfoot there. And then we got the chunky sole that basically is the exact same sole as the Air Force One, except instead of saying AF1 right here or Air right here, it says Ape, because ape shall never kill ape. That's sort of mantra of A Bathing Ape and Planet of the Apes. But anyway, so that's that. Now let's move on to the upper, where until I got this shoe in hand, I didn't realize just how many different textures were on this shoe, and that is a very decidedly Kanye thing. But anyway, we'll start with this dark brown sort of pigskin, like almost football type pattern. It's just a heavy tumbled leather, but it's kind of tough. And that's dope. And if you look, we've got like a sort of screen printed College Dropout bear. And this does have the classic College Dropout album cover colors, that maroon, the dark red, the browns and all that. So this is definitely a College Dropout inspired shoe, even though we were on graduation by the time this came out. Now, of course, we got that dark brown. We see the reds. Let's talk about this tan. This tan is actually like a nubuck. It's kind of like a softer version of a Durabuck material, if you're like super familiar with Nike and Jordan shoes. But that's what we've got in this toe box and on this mid panel. But then that same tan is done in an actual leather for the Sta logo. That's what they call their version of the swoosh. So the star, there you go, is there in that leather. On the heel of the shoe, you got that Bapesta embroidery. Like I said, this is the classic style. Nike did sue Bape a while later and made them change certain elements of the design. So you got like little double lines here on the newer Bape models, and the toe box looks a little bit different as well. But anyway, no one wants to hear about all that. The last little like bit of detail that I'll point out is on the red for the lace holes, as well as the tongue. So we've got the tan on the tongue, and we got the red on here, but they're both done in like this textured leather. It's not tumbled, but it's like textured. It almost feels like a ripstop material, like to the fingers, but it's leather. It's like a stamped leather. And that is really cool. It's just a nice premium touch on what honestly in a Bapesta was a cheap feeling shoe. And it's kind of does, now that we've gotten all these iterations of Kanye sneakers, this seems like something Kanye would do just to be different and play around with materials and fashion and all that. So this, I guess, was a sign in many ways of what was to come. But anyone really have any idea that this was coming? Really, really cool stuff. Now, I should point out that what I'm looking at is a replica of the original shoe. It did get a limited release. It's not like no one has access to this shoe, but if you're trying to get this shoe, it's like $5,000-$6,000 on the secondary market right now. And let's just see if there's anything that we can look at to tell. And there's a few things that I look at specifically. The first of which just being the placement on these holes on the toe box. I think what it is that the mudguard is a little thick. And because of that, the holes just look like they come too close to the edges. So there's that. I can try the black light test to see if there's anything that comes up. Yep, there we go. We got a centering line right there. There's some of that heat invisible ink there around the star. And a little bit on the back as well. You can see it like kind of around this little outline piece. Oh, and here we go. That's quite the factory stamp there on the midsole. So that's how I can legit check my left shoe. Let's try the right shoe, see if we got the same issues. Ooh, the pen marks are even more prominent on my right shoe. And yeah, they are all over this shoe. You can see all the outlines of everything. So that's that. Now, I did get these in a size 8.5 because in both my Air Force Ones and my Bapes, I don't like the super roomy fit that you get. I might come to regret it later because 8.5s do fit like super tight. Well, tight. But I like to be able to go loose with the laces, as you'll see in the on-foot footage. I will show you the box as well. This came in the old school Bape foot soldier box. Ape shall never kill ape. This is such a classic. 8.5. No colorway listed on the box. And then inside, the shoes did come in these dust bags, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, that, as they say, is that. So enjoy the on foot, and I'll see you guys in another video real soon. Peace.